wanted to save you, Captain.
If forgetting their sacrifice is justice, I will follow their rules no more.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another class tutorial from me. This time I will showcase the new class Revenant that will soon come to EU Classic with the 2.7 update. In this video you will learn everything you need to know about the skills and the concept of the class, as well as some nice rotations, which hopefully will give you some exclusive and helpful insights before the release. The Revenant takes a different path from the other existing classes. You will start on an island called Telos with beautiful visuals where you have to recover your strength and play through a new and exciting questline to ascend to a Deva. At this point I don't want to spoil the story for you guys, you really should experience it yourself. So let's jump right into the class mechanics. The Revenant is a hybrid ladder class with an extendable weapon. It uses physical as well as magical skills, however boosting the magical skills with a magic boost set is not possible. The weapon is called Chainsword. It can be fused with another Chainsword and the extent range is 10 meters. For example, here you can see an endgame weapon that you can drop from the new world bosses. As you can see, the 5 stats you need to focus on is crit strike, physical attack, as well as parry for your toggle skills, which I will explain later in the video. And also magic accuracy and accuracy for your control skills. The Revenant uses a completely new fighting system. You no longer need mana for most of your skills. Instead they added a new system which you can see here over your health bar. It's called lightning energy and it won't recover itself like mana. Instead it will decrease over time and you have to build it up in every fight. Therefore you have skills who charge your lightning energy as well as skills who will consume your lightning energy. Another way to recover your lightning energy fast is to buy electric power potions, which you can obtain from the Ordnance Quartermaster. These potions are very helpful and you will definitely need them in PvP, however the bad part about them is that they're very pricey, as you can see. So let's talk about the skill chains of this class. The first skill chain is needed to charge your lightning energy. They will consume a small amount of mana and are always available. After 2 basic skills you can choose between Slash, which deals 1256 to 1297 physical damage and puts your target in the knockback state, or Crush, which deals 909 to 950 physical damage, while decreasing your target's evasion and magical resistance by 300 for 12 seconds, and also boosting your parry by 300 as long as the effect is active. The next skill chains are Charged Strike and Charged Blow. Those are Stigmas and similar to the first chain, they consume mana and you can recover your lightning energy with them. This skill chain is for PvE only and I don't recommend using them for PvP. So the third chain is also a chain to recover your lightning energy with. And the special thing about this chain is that it ends with a front AoE, which deals magical wind damage up to 4 targets in front of you. Also this chain consumes mana, so it will be always available. The fourth chain is one of my favorite. It starts with Lightning Storm, which deals up to 1376 to 1417 physical damage to 4 targets in front of you, and you can use the skill 3 times in a row. This skill is followed by a stigma called Thunderbolt Wave, which deals 1576 to 1617 physical damage up to 4 targets in front of you, while also putting them into knockback for 4 seconds. So this is an insane knockback front AoE and a must-have for PvP. One of the core mechanics, which makes this class an insane DPS in PvP, is to put a target in the knockback state and then applying 4 skills on it, which deal additional damage to it when the knockback state is active. The first of these 4 skills is called Current Wave. It has a cast time of 0.5 seconds and deals 481 to 522 physical base damage, while also dealing 2630 additional physical damage if the target is in the knockback state. Insane damage here for a physical class, but it will get even crazier than that. The next skill is called Wailing Thunder. It deals 1925 to 1966 physical base damage, while also dealing 1816 extra damage if the knockback state is active. So in total over 3700 physical damage, which is just insane, guys. The third skill is called Burst Smash. It deals 1375 to 1416 physical base damage and also 1087 additional damage when the target has been knocked back. The fourth skill is the weakest of them all. It deals 1060 to 1101 physical base damage and 766 additional damage during knockback. So I tested those skills in a duel where both chars had a similar combat talent. Important to mention is that I don't wear any PvP accessories or weapons because I wanted to analyze a balanced fight with no advantages. As you can see, the damage output is so insane that I can't even use all of those 4 skills before my enemy dies. So it's safe to say that this class will be extremely dangerous once it's geared up, and to all the healers out there I can only say, get your block gears ready for group fights because this class will be able to melt you in a few seconds. So the next chain is very broken and I will show you why. It starts with Current Feint, which teleports you behind a target in a 20 meters range. The follow skill is called Current Regression, which teleports you back to the location where you first used Current Feint. And the broken thing about this skill is that it will stay active for a while and you can teleport back up to 50 meters. In total the class has 3 jump skills. The second jump skill is called Greater Thunderbolt Explosion. The cool thing about the skill is that it not only lets you jump to a target which is 15 meters away from you, but also deals 1071 to 1112 physical damage to 8 enemies within a 7 meter radius. So a jump and AoE combined in one skill. In PvP you can combine those 3 skills to a nice combo. For example, you can use Current Feint as an opener to jump 20 meters behind an enemy. After that you set the enemy into knockback to lure out the shock remove. Once the enemy has used the shock remove, you outrange him and jump back to the starting position up to 50 meters with Current Regression in order to counter the shock remove. After that you use Greater Thunderbolt Explosion to leap back to the target. Then you can use, for example, a physical debuff followed by a 5 seconds Ether Hold, and while the Ether Hold is active you can spam your Lightning Storm chain to apply the 4 seconds knockback once the Ether Hold runs out in order to stun lock your target, and finish it with skills that deal additional damage while the knockback state is applied. Pretty effective, and it's just one of the many combos this class has to offer. Okay, back to the jump skills. The third jump skill is called Lightning Rush. It deals 617 to 658 physical damage. However, in order to use this skill, your target has to be immobilized or slowed. Only then you can jump to the target within a 35 meters range, which again is pretty insane far for a jump skill. In combination with Lightning Protective Shield, this jump can be used very effectively. The shield will reflect 100 damage for each attack on you. It will stay active for 12 seconds and reduce the damage you receive from players, while also slowing them down for 2 seconds every time they attack you. So pay close attention here. First you use the shield. Once you receive the damage from your enemy, he will be slowed down for 2 seconds, and once he is slowed, Lightning Rush will be active and you can jump towards the target. The next skill I want to introduce is Chains of Judgment. It will inflict magic wind damage to a target within 9 meters of you and up to 5 enemies around a target within a 7 meter radius, while also putting the targets into a 5 seconds Ether Hold. This Ether Hold is the strongest we have in the classic version because it applies to up to 5 people and also has an insane chain skill which will leave you speechless. So the first chain skill after the Ether Hold is called Current Fall. It will hit up to 8 enemies within a 7 meter range with magical wind damage, even if they are not in Ether Hold, and make the targets who are in Ether Hold crash to the ground. Although the damage is pretty high, as you just saw, I highly recommend you all to use the second chain skill called Lightning Strike. It has the same effect than the first one, however in addition it silences all the targets for 4 seconds, and guys, this silence can't be dispelled. I guarantee you guys this stigma will be one of the most valuable stigmas for the Revenant. It will be very pricey on the broker because it is the most broken one this class has. Just imagine a 4-second group silence in PvP which you can't dispel. Completely insane. Okay, the next skill chains are toggle skills that will activate after a successful parry, similar to the Chanter. The first one is a stigma which lets you recover 60 lightning energy after a successful parry. The second one increases your physical attack by 15% and also increases magical accuracy by 200 for 20 seconds. Counter slam inflicts 1761 to 1802 physical damage to a target. And a must-have for PvP on this chain is Lion's Roar, 1417 to 1458 physical damage while also applying knockback. The last one is called Mighty Roar and it's a huge damage skill which inflicts 2457 to 2498 physical damage. So, how can you activate those skills intentionally? Well, one way is to use current defense. It has a 1 minute cooldown and lets you parry 1 physical attack for 10 seconds. The other way is to use lightning armor. This skill has a 2 minute and 30 seconds cooldown and will stay active for 1 minute. During the skill is active, your immobilization resistance is increased by 1000, which means you can't be slowed or rooted, and also it increases your parry by 700, which gives you a good chance to parry a lot of attacks. So last but not least, you have the shock remove chain, which allows you to either use an AoE damage skill on 4 enemies within a 5 meter radius who are up to 20 meters away, or a skill who recovers 30 of your lightning energy. You can ignore both skills in PvP because you don't want to waste your shock remove, however in PvE those skills could be useful. Okay, let's have a look on the DP skills, which I'm sure most of you guys are mostly interested in. The class has 2 DP skills in total. The first DP skill deals 1518 to 1559 physical damage on a target and also applies knockback. It costs 2000 DP and has only a 1 minute cooldown. You saw the skill in my jump rotation, very useful to put somebody into knockback fast or to lure out the shock remove as I demonstrated. The second DP skill is a buff that boosts your physical attack by 50% and magical accuracy and accuracy by 200 each for 30 seconds. It costs 4000 DP and sadly has a long cooldown of 30 minutes. However, the skill damage of this class is enormously high, so this explains why this class hasn't got much boost skills, because it would have been even more broken than it already is. Okay, let's check the greater stigmas of this class. The first skill of the upper tree is called Forceful Impact, and in my opinion a must-have for PvE and PvP, because it reduces the physical defense of a target by 500 for 10 seconds, while also dealing damage. Although it has a long cooldown, it's super effective if you want to burst a target. Magnetic Field Discharge is a normal stigma that lets you resist 2 magical attacks, and Thunderstrike will inflict 1004 to 1045 physical damage to a target, while also decreasing its attack speed for 4 seconds. Both skills are very useful for PvP and I highly recommend using them. So Replenishing Lightning consumes 30 of your lightning energy, while recovering some of your HP. By the description it could mean 30 HP, which would be totally useless then, or 30% of your HP, which then would be more useful. I haven't really tried that one out, so if you know the effect of the skill, please put it in the comments, because once again the translation is very misleading and unclear. This way you have the community and I will pin your answer. So the next skill is Charged Slash. It inflicts 949 to 990 damage on a target. Other than that it has no effect. That's why I didn't went for the whole tree, because I think it's not optimal for PvP. The next skill is a magical skill again. It inflicts wind damage on a target within 15 meters and applies knockback. Because it's a magical skill, you will need magical accuracy for it, not to resist, and you have to decide for yourself if it suits your build and your gameplay. From my experience, those magical skills resist a lot if you go for an offensive mana stone build with crit and attack. So I don't recommend going to full stigma tree, or if so, at least get enough magic accuracy so your magical skills won't miss. Blinding Light Strike inflicts 1001 to 1042 physical damage, and as the name says, it blinds a target for 10 seconds. Similar to the Cleric Blind, it has a long cooldown of 4 minutes, so again, you have to decide here if it's worth it. In my opinion, I would choose another build and just go with the Blind God Stones versus physical classes, because the cooldown is just too long. And the last of the greatest Stigmas is Stormbolt Smash. It's an AoE which inflicts magical damage up to 8 enemies within a 7 meters range and slows them. Again, I wouldn't use the Stigma for PvP because the magic skills of this class doesn't scale with magic boost. They always deal the same amount of damage. I tested it with a magic boost set and the damage was always static. Also keep in mind, if you have too low magic accuracy, the skill most likely will resist on players and you waste 1 Stigma slot. Okay, let's check the second tree. This is most likely the PvE tree. We already talked about the first skill. It's an attack and magic accuracy boost after a successful parry. The second one is Wailing Thunder. We also talked about this skill. It has the strongest damage effect when applied to a target that is in a knockback state, so I highly recommend you guys to use the skill in all builds. And the third one is a Stigma that lets you recover 30 lightning energy after a successful parry. The next skill is the PvE chain skill that allows you to recharge lightning energy while dealing a high amount of damage. Perfect for PvE. This is the same skill than before, and here we have a nice AoE skill that deals physical damage to a target within a 9 meters range and up to 4 enemies within 5 meters. And Sleep Mode lets you consume only 50% of your lightning energy for your skills for 20 seconds with a 2-minute cooldown. So Charged Blow is the chills gain from Charged Strike. As already mentioned, you can recover lightning energy with it. Other than that, it only deals physical damage. So it's most likely to be used in your PvE build. The last skill of this tree is called Electric Concentration. It increases your physical attack by 30% and speed by 10% for 12 seconds. During this time, your skills don't consume lightning energy, but again, it has a 5 minutes cooldown, so I personally would prefer other Stigmas that allow you more mobility, defense and control. So overall the class might seem broken at first. It's literally a hybrid between Ranger and Assassin. The extend weapon and the many jump skills will help you a lot to keep track of your enemies. It's almost safe to say that there is no escape from this class. However, the strongest skills of the Revenant are also his biggest weakness. If your knockbacks or the Ether Hold resist, you won't be able to use the full potential of your skills. Also the fact that you need a lot of magical accuracy, so your magical skills, like for example the 4-second silence, which can't be removed, won't resist, makes it very difficult to fight against people with their sets. Against classes like Templar or Gladiator, who can shield themselves from knockbacks, slows or ether holds, you're facing your worst enemy. Class and Templar will be your strongest counter classes, especially if they use block sets against you. Besides, I highly predict that the Assassins and Rangers will counter you as well, simply because of broken mechanics like the Rune Burst, where magic boosts Assassins to one-shot people, or the fact that the combat speed of the Revenant is very slow compared to the Ranger and Assassin for example. However, despite from those classes, the Revenant really shines against Mage and Priest classes. He can resist to magical skills and also parry a lot of physical skills. He is also able to keep track of you with his many jump skills. Besides, he can remove slow or root conditions and also raise his resistance against them. And most importantly, he has the ability to put you into silence for 4 seconds, which you can't remove, and this condition will give him a huge advantage to burst you down easily. Despite all that, I really think the Revenant will make a valuable companion in group fights. He has many AoE and control skills and a massive damage output while also being very agile. In PvE, I'm pretty sure the class won't reach top tier simply because of the fact that his core damage is related to the knockback state, and despite his high base damage of the skills, his attack speed is very low compared to other classes. So guys, that's it for the class tutorial. I hope I could give you some good informations and insights about the mechanics and skills. If you have further questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments. I will try to answer all of them. And if you liked the video, please consider to subscribe. It will help the channel to grow and furthermore keeps me motivated to make content for the community. So take care guys and see you in the next video.